So, no stick in here?
No, honey,
Where are the extra wires?
there aren't any. It's a Roku TV.
Oh, okay. I knew that.
I'll be live in a second for the first official stream of HMBS Tech. Just give me 2 more minutes. And sorry I'm late for those who tuned in one time. Just setting up a few other things I should have had set up earlier. But it was a busy day as always. And thank you to anybody who tunes in or watches this later on. I appreciate the support. Again, as I said, thank you for joining me on the HMBS Tech YouTube channel and my Twitch channel, which is The Solution 007. This is Maurice, or you can call me Reese. Actually, yeah, let's just go with that. Just call me Reese, like everybody else does. Echo, turn on stream lights. One more second.
One More Second by Dominic Miller on
Echo,
Amazon Music.
stop. We'll get this pre-show thing together eventually. Boy. Some people make this look so easy. And thank you to the Sports Garage for tuning in. We'll be going in a second. Just have to get the lighting on since Alexa refused to listen properly again. Sometimes. There you go. Ugh. off this starting screen. There we go. I think we're good. For those of you in chat, let me know how everything looks and how everything sounds. Hopefully we've worked out all the kinks and everything is visible to everybody. Eventually I have to make some improvements to this setup. Well, finally, we're at the first stream, and it's the Tech Talk stream. So, let's just start with the basics. I guess I'll talk about myself first. Of course, like I said in the promo leading up to this, I'm Reese. I'm in tech. I've been in tech for almost 20 years. I think I started this home and business solutions back in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was August of 2002. Exactly. Anyway, that's like 19 years and a couple of months worth of experience. Started out building PCs, then got into web development maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and recently over the past, I want to say 8 months or so, into cybersecurity. Hey, life is all about growth, right? And if the pandemic taught me one thing, it's always good to know as much as possible and go as far as you can go. And try as many new things as you can. Hold on. What? I'm gonna have to. I can see already I'm gonna have to move chat to a different window. So the next stream will probably look a little different. Because looking all the way over here into the light is kind of blinding. But I know how to fix that problem too. Give me 1 second. Ugh, hate working out new stream kinks on stream, but that's what I'm here for, to work out all the kinks, because even in the test run, everything isn't gonna show up the way you want it to. Let's see. I'm gonna read what you said in a second, Ty. The stream is just a little wonky, so I'm trying to see if I can see everything I'm supposed to see. I can see it over here in this other window, but it's kind of blurry. But as usual, thank you for being here and thank you for the support. And at least you can walk me through this test stream, even if you're the only one here. Okay, so I still fix this stream chat thing. Always something. Stream. Oh, let's see. Oh. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I know you do. Thanks for always having my back. Whew. This is always so technical difficulties. I think you had technical difficulties in your first show too, if I'm not mistaken. But hey, That's what we're here for, right? To work out all the kinks before the hundreds of people join. So we're not sitting up there looking like complete Neanderthals or something. Anyway, where was I in my story? Since this is going to be a vlog, I might as well finish. Anyway, as I said, I've been in tech for 19 years or so, pretty well experienced. As I said, started out building PCs, or rather, fixing them. I think I fixed one for a friend, maybe, like I said, in August of '02, and maybe started the business in, I think, '03, or at least that's when I built my first actual PC all together, piece by piece. I had that PC maybe about until, I want to say, 2000. It lasted for maybe 7 or 8 years. And following that, I decided to launch Home and Business Solutions. Of course, since then, I've built maybe, I want to say, a good 20 PCs, so I'm pretty experienced with just about anything you can throw at me. It's maybe been a while, but as I was saying, then I got into web development maybe, I want to say, 2015 is when I started putting up websites. No, probably before that. About 2015 is when I built my first website for a client on GoDaddy. Got money off of that. Figured out, hey, I can do that. I can do this too. So it was on from there. And like I said, 8 months ago during the pandemic, I decided to get into cybersecurity, which is a little simpler because it's a lot less. I mean, it's a little more intricate because I'd rather defend the web than actually build it. I figured that out going along. Not that I don't like web development, but that nurtures my creative side, yes, but I kind of like the hacking part and how it always looks so cool in the movies and everything. But that always took my interest when I was a kid. Now, we're going to journey back a little bit. I know you're wondering, how did a guy who used to want to be a lawyer get started in technology? Well, it's a funny story. Because I was that kid that liked taking his toys apart when he was younger. Now, we're talking about 6 or 7 maybe. And most people thought it was just because I like destroying stuff. But no, actually I wanted to see how things work. And it just went on from there. I did originally. All through school I used to think, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer or a writer or a journalist or something smart like that. But and tech was always just a hobby. So the hobby, when I was maybe after I graduated high school, the hobby turned into an actual passion when I watched a television channel called Tech TV. Now this was in the early 2000s. Funny story. And I just happened to catch an episode on, I think Tech TV later became G-Force, as some people in my age group or maybe a little younger might remember it. Because Leo Laporte, the guy that was on Tech TV at the time, still is on a network called Twit. It's an online technology network. Anyway, back to the story. So I saw these guys sit up there and actually build a computer on live television. I said to myself, I can do that. It looks easy. So about maybe a couple of months later, the summer of 2003, I went ahead and went up to, I'm trying to remember the name of the store. I think it was CompUSA, if I'm not mistaken. And just bought an entire bunch of computer parts. Started out with the motherboard. Started out with I think it was a P4 478 processor. Yeah, Pentium 4. Yeah, Pentium 4 478 pin processor. I can't remember the motherboard, and I remember it was the AGP video card. Yes, that was way, way back in the day. So anybody who's old enough knows what an AGP video card was like. And bought me a Sound Blaster audio card. I'm trying to remember all the pieces I had on the computer. And a video capture card. And the big old cart monitor, which was huge at the time. Those things were like mini television sets. But hey, I was on my way. I got this big behind desk that took up the majority of my room. Anybody who remembers me from back then knows how big that desk was and how tall and heavy that tower was that I built. But I had fun doing it. It took me maybe, I want to say, trust me, it was less than a day. Took me maybe 5 hours to put the entire computer together. I wish we had good video cameras back then, because I would like to tape that so even I could look at it. Because I remember I was scared of bending the pins that were on the processor. But I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And if I succeed, I'm going to go ahead and try and do this, to make some extra money on the side. And it's funny because even though I wanted to do it, I was still scared to do it because I was afraid the entire time that I was gonna break apart and it was gonna cost me some money and I was gonna suck at it. But the first time trying something, you're always a little bit nervous about it. But I was like, hey, go ahead, might as well. Like I said, 5 hours later, I had me a working computer. I turned it on. You know how that first, I don't know how many people who are gonna watch this are in the tech, but or built the computer before, but anytime you boot it up for the first time and see all the lights work and everything come on and it actually boots and posts and everything, that is the best feeling in the world. You feel like like you just created this wonderful thing, like you just created a new world or something. Anyway, I think the first operating system I had on it might have been Windows XP. Oh, those were the days. Put Windows XP on it and was gone from there. Jumped on, I think it was Yahoo Messenger back then, and a couple other programs I installed, Zone Alarm, and everything I had learned off of Tech TV. AGV antivirus back when it was actually good. Nowadays I use Avast and a whole bunch of other programs and suites and Adobe and all of that other stuff, but it's hard to remember a lot of the programs back then. That should show you how long I've actually been doing this. And now I have my own site up, which is hmbstech.com. You'll probably hear me say that an awful lot, and one of these days when I have the time, I'm actually going to have a little banner running across the screen to remind people of the website, hmbstech.com. That way I don't have to say it so much. But I just set all that up in Streamlabs, but I just wanted to get this first stream off the schneid, so I'd actually have something, something to show, because I'm supposed to start like last Wednesday, but got sidetracked. It's always something coming up, either studies or the client thing. Yeah, I had the service tablet that came in late because the client was supposed to bring it to me like the Sunday before last, but it didn't end up getting to me till that Wednesday. Then I stayed up all night trying to get it to work, but then they couldn't remember the password, so I spent the entire night trying to basically jailbreak the Surface tablet to be able to get in it to find out what I could do with it. Then maybe 2 days later, I found out the Surface tablet is a Windows 8.1 RT, and there is nothing I can do with it because the hardware is too old. So basically I killed 4 nights of possible streams trying to fix the computer. Money comes before anything else. Well, let's just start making money off of this, then it'll be a different story. But that's a different story for a different time. Anyway, back to the beginning of Home and Business Solutions Tech. Sometimes you might notice that when I talk, I tend to ramble, so I will get off track, but I always end up back where I was supposed to be anyway. Anybody who knows me knows that I can talk for long periods of time, and sometimes I may go off topic, but I always get back to where I was. Those people running around in my head. There's about 5 of them. They all carry this funny little internal conversation. I think Ty knows what I'm talking about here, don't you, Ty? And I figured you will remember G4 too. See, this is why we're friends. You understand me. Hopefully, this community grows with more people who understand me and where I'm coming from. Anyway, back to the beginning of Home and Business Solutions. It was rough there at first because, you gotta get people, you gotta get clients, and you actually have to get people to believe in you and actually believe in what you're doing, because, and let's be real. In the black community, it's like, oh, somebody who builds computers. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? I'm just used to buying mine from the store. I think back then it was, let me see, CompUSA, Radio Shack. Is Radio Shack even around anymore? I don't even know. I don't think Radio Shack's around anymore. Oh yeah, thanks for the heads up, Ty. I mean, but that was just, like I said, that was an internal conversation. Like I said, sometimes I tend to ramble, but yeah, that's what I do. Anyway, back to this story. As I was saying, people used to get computers from like CompUSA's, Radio Shacks. Maybe Best Buy was around back then. I'm not so sure. Like I said, it was a long time ago. The early 2000s, young me, just starting out trying to get people to, like I said, trust you enough to bring this stuff over to you, let you fix it, tell them what's wrong with it. And it's worked out well, honestly. It's worked out well because basically had some, I'd say about maybe a good 4 or 5 regular customers. So, and the experience has been good. But like I said, and it's all about growth. I could have just stayed in the IT field, putting PCs together. But like I said, life is all about growth and always moving forward. I've always believed in that. So the interest grew from there, like I said, and because people always think once you're in computers, like you're some sort of miracle worker and you can do everything. So people will come to me like, "Can you do this?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll look into it." I never say no to anything. I always try and take on any challenge, even if I only know a little bit about it. And that's kind of how I got into web development, because one client, wanted me to link his website to, I believe it was something to do with analytics. So I went in there. I pretty much figured it out and did it without a problem. So I said, I'm going to look into this web development thing. It seems pretty simple. So that's when I started learning my first programming languages, which was Java, which is, I don't know why I picked Java first, but it was actually, I think Java itself, not JavaScript. I think Java itself is probably one of the hardest languages to learn, but it's the one that basically, if you've noticed, I don't know if people notice this or not, but Java is probably the main one that runs in the background on a lot of technology, including Android, your regular computer system. Java pretty much runs everywhere there is a microprocessor. So, I guess that was a good one to learn, but it's really not the modern programming language these days. Then after that, I think if I remember correctly, I think after Java, I think I moved on to Python, and it was C Sharp or C++. I can't remember because I'm getting a little confused with all the C's. I think there's C, C++, C Sharp, and C++. So there's about four different offshoots of the C programming language in web development. And I think C Sharp or C++ is for game development, which I did want to get into, because for those of you who know me as well, and this is part of what this channel will be about, I've been in the video game since. Now I'm gonna date myself for a minute. Since the Atari came out. And yes, I said Atari. And yes, I'm that old. I had a debate with, I think it was my sister, about which game system we played first, and she reminded me that it was Atari and not Nintendo, which came out in '85, I believe. And Ty, you can correct me on that if I'm wrong, because I know you probably know better than me. So, then after that, I think it was the Sega Genesis, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it the Super NES that came out after Nintendo? I think it was the Sega Genesis. Anyway, as I was saying about this, the C programming languages, most of those are used in, building video games, and you'll find them in the Unreal Engines and the Unities and the things like that. But things took me in a different direction. For some reason, I decided, this Python thing seems pretty popular. Let me see what that's about. And then I got into Python programming language, and like I said, that took me in a different direction because I figured out Python was mainly used in machine learning and a lot of Linux operating systems, which is how I ended up getting into Linux operating systems, which is how you end up doing in Linux operating systems such as Kali Linux and Kali Linux and Linux Mint. I almost forgot which operating system I use on one of my laptops. It's actually sitting right here on the desk. Anyway, Kali Linux and Linux Mint. So then I thought about machine learning and artificial intelligence. But then I'm always been, like I said, I've always wanted to. TV makes cybersecurity look so glamorous. You got these little hackers sitting in their little basements or their little things with multiple screens, just getting into things or protecting things, and it just fascinated me. So, and it's been a fascination since, like I said, early childhood. Hey, you build stuff, you try and protect it. You want to have this super tech lab thing. You just want to build things and have fun. And technology's always been one of those things where I get another one of my creative sides. Just one part of it. Like I said, and you wonder how's a guy that used to want to be a lawyer end up in technology, but like I said, it's always been a hobby, so here I am. Hopefully the channel grows to the point where I can sit here with other techies or gamers and let's see, people who are in anime. See, I gotta try and remember sometimes all the interests I have. And I had this conversation the other night on the Sports Garage. It's hard to remember everything you're interested in. All your interests when somebody asks you about them, including the poetry and everything else. Sometimes even Reese's brain forgets everything that Reese is into. And that's funny, because, it just happens. People ask you, what are your interests? And sometimes you had to freeze like, wait a minute. I like a lot of things, but which one would I put first? But I'd always say, I'm into tech. Yes, because that's what I do. I'm into gaming, because that's like an offshoot of tech. And I wouldn't say poetry was offshoot of any of those things. It was just like the ability to be able to write, creative. And of course, you can see I like to talk a lot, even though I ramble a lot too. So, just saying. Let's see, what else do I need to cover? Most days you can find me, I'll start out the day. Just recently I started studying Spanish again, because in high school, it's high school, so you really didn't get to learn much. But found out on Duolingo, you can take it at your own pace, and I'm just one of those people who likes to learn new things and is always learning, is always trying new things, and enjoys challenges. So if anybody brings me any tech questions, I'll probably have I'm most likely 99% of the time I'll have an answer for you right away, and if not, I'll find one. Let's see. Anyway, as I said, TikTok, as I was saying, TikTok Tuesdays will be a regular thing. I want people to tune into the channel. Anybody's welcome. If you're in tech, if you're not in tech, if you're a writer, poet, whatever you do, if we have similar interests, even if we don't have similar interests, hey, this is just a place to come, hang out, and chill. Anyway, I've been on for a while. I was going to do this whole thing about, CNET's top stories or whatever, and go from there. But I think I'll save that for tomorrow.